Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me here today, for checking out this video, and for tagging along. We have seen some cold weather over the last little bit, with some weathers dropping down and staying for about a week or two. And now we're experiencing, we're in the lows, around zero. And people are wearing their shorts, and kids were wearing they're wearing their Birkenstocks all year. It doesn't matter if it's -30 or not. They're going to be wearing those Birkenstocks. But we're seeing some better weather, which is nice. And I hope you are doing really, really well. I want to give you a quick update and rundown on how things are looking in our real estate market as we're taking a peek at January of 2025. And just give some little bits of insight and maybe some wisdom for you. We might even start something else that's more focused on that life development and personal development side, which stay tuned for as we look for the rest of this year. So a quick quote as one of the books that I've been reading right now from Sahil Bloom. It's called The 5 Types of Wealth. It talks about how to live your life with purpose and meaning. We generally have a view of wealth in this one physical asset that we see at the end of our lives, with how many gold coins Scrooge McDuck is sitting on at the end, where there's a lot of different ways to look at wealth. And one of the questions he talks about is valuing our time and making sure that we have time wealth, and that we are being purposeful with the time that we have and that we've been given as a gift. And he has this one quote in there, and it's a great quote, and I just thought I'd leave it with you to think about things as you're planning out the rest of this year. We're almost 2 months done in 2025, 10 more months for this year, and then we're into 2026. Going to be a year older. Those kids are going to be a year older. You're going to be buying new hockey equipment and clothes for these kids that have grown, and we're going to be a year further down the road. And so to take a moment and ask these of ourselves right now, and he has a quote here, and I'll just read it up to you. It says, "The greatest discoveries in life come not from finding the right answers, but from asking the right questions." So making sure that you're asking the right questions throughout the entirety of this year, whether that means about your life, your relationships, your family, your work, your home, where you live. These are all important questions, and the important part is asking them, seeking them out, and maybe finding friends, people that you trust and rely on, and what insights they can give to you. So what things I've been asking myself are these questions, and I'm journaling and writing things down. So I hope that you are doing those things, and you're growing and you're developing, and you're asking yourselves really, really good questions. Okay, a little transition here. What kind of questions should we be asking about our real estate market as we're heading into 2025? Do we think it's going to be the same as we saw last year? And with all the craziness that's going on politically, is it going to have an impact? And everything does have an impact, but what we do have is a strong and robust market here in Alberta. It continues to be the place to be, with interprovincial growth and people making their way here. And we can see that reflected in our pricing. Let's take a look at some stats, because you're like, why does this guy talk to me so much about random stuff? I just want the stats. And so I'm going to give it to you now. Our inventory levels are at 3,731. That's looking back at January. And then our sales were 1,597. And so when we take those things, we get our months of inventory, and our months of inventory, we're sitting at 2.3. So 2.3 months of inventory, 2.4 was the month previous. And that means 2.3 months to gobble up all that inventory. Now, when we look at our pricing specifically for the Edmonton and surrounding area, that market, we're looking for our detached homes, which is the strength of our market. A lot of other markets still have strength in their condos or their semi-detached. There are half duplexes, but ours is that single family detached home. That's our strength. And so our pricing point for our average price there is $561,000. And so month over month, that went up about 4%, 4.2. And then year over year, and again, this is January. January is a smaller sample size, as you'll see in some St. Albert stats, and you'll see with those sales. It's a smaller sample size, but that is up about 16% from January 2024. So year over year, that month has seen some significant increases and pushed that price point up to 561, which are prices that we haven't seen. These are high price points, and our market continues to trend upwards. As we look at our semi-detached, those half duplex, one side attached, one side not, we're looking at a price point of $421,000, which is up 3% month over month, and then up 11% year over year. Again, increase in pricing, which you'll see across the board. Those row style homes, those town homes, those are sitting at a price point average of $312,000, and that's up 6% from the month previous and up 15% from the year before. So across the board, we've seen increases in all of those values. And then it comes to our apartment style condos. Those even have seen price increases year over year. We're at $203,000, which is essentially flat from the month previous. And then we're up 4.9, almost 5% year over year. Even those apartment style condos are beginning to see some traction and light, which they haven't seen for a very, very long time. Our days on market for properties in that Edmonton area, we're looking at 51. The year previous was 60. Shorter days on market. We don't have a ton of inventory. We're seeing sales come up. The months of inventory are sitting below 4, really below 3. That's going to be seller's territory, where we're seeing multiple offers. We're seeing homes go over list price or at list price if they are sold relatively quickly. The market is still leaning towards sellers rather than buyers. Buyers need to really be prepared and ready if they're going to be making deals, and we're going to see the market pick up. We've had some colder weeks here. I think that's put a little bit of a damper on things. People not want to go out when it's minus 30. But I think we're going to see this market pick up a little bit more. Now, let's take a look at St. Albert and that real estate market there, that little subgroup where the community where I live. What we're looking at is currently at the time of this, there were 100 active properties. We look back at last month, there were 38 sales last month, which is the same as the month previous. And then you look back the year prior, there was about 34 sales. So similar, a little bit more in terms of sales than the year previous. So there's been some activity there with an average price point in the single family detached at $601,000. Again, a smaller sample size, it really kind of gets skewed a little bit, but that median price is about $537,000. And then the month prior to that, the average price was $558,000. So there's growth there and some increase. And then the year prior to that was $536,000. I think that we'll see kind of mediate. It goes really into the mid high fives up into 600s for that average price because there's fewer homes that are sold in the community. But you're really looking in the mid to high 500s and really average price point of $601,000 right now for that single family detached home. That's going to be up about 7% year over year. So some strength and some high price points there as well. The highest sale we saw in St. Albert was going to be 1.06. That's in Riverside. They saw a nice property sell out there. And the lowest sale was going to be $335,000 in Ainsdale. So we're seeing that span there. Some good value, high value properties that are being sold, and then some opportunities for investors and things like that. Our months of inventory in St. Albert specifically, 2.6 months of inventory has gone up a bit from 2.2 by the month previous. But what that's telling us is we still have a lot of activity. We still have prices that are continuing to rise. So that's a bit of a rundown on our market here as we're in February. We're taking a peek at January. So the same story that we've been preaching for the last while. Prices are continuing to rise. There might be, who knows, some turbulence as we navigate these political waters, but still continues to be the place to be. Getting a single family detached home here, way cheaper than you can find across Canada or really a whole pile of other North American markets. One of the best places to raise a family. Edmonton, St. Albert specifically, a wonderful place to live. And I think we're going to continue to see a lot of strength throughout this year. So my friends, as we wrap this up, I hope you ask yourself great questions about where you want to be, what you want to see in your life, and how you can continue to grow. And if you need any help, any questions at all about our markets, about stats, about, maybe you're just curious, what did the neighbor's house sell for? Reach out. We'd be happy to help serve you and point you in the right direction. Thank you again, my friends, for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.